Hello everyone, Charcoal here, and welcome to another discussion video. Today, thanks to an idea from Lucid Dreams on Discord, I'm going to talk about the three sisters who started a decades-long war for the SandWing throne, Blister, Blaze, and Burn. Obviously, if you've read Book 5, you'd know none of these three actually ended up being queen, but what if they did? Who'd be the best queen? That depends, because the answer changes based on how we define the word best. I'll be asking three separate questions: who'd be the most popular, who'd be the most effective at running the kingdom, and if the war had kept going, who would have won? I'll be looking at each scenario individually because I don't think there's just one right answer here. Let's get started. Starting with the most popular one, that's easy, it's Blaze. It's established early on that the majority of the SandWing supported her since she's the nicest of the three. Burn and Blister were both pretty violent and power hungry, so was there really a tough decision between either of them or the one that doesn't have any plans to plunge the tribe back into wartime? Yeah, Blaze wins this round. Assuming the Eye of Onyx is never found to say who can and can't be queen, which sister would be the most effective at leading their kingdom and keeping it stable? Well, right off the bat we can eliminate Blaze, because although she's the nicest of the sisters, she's also unambitious, self-absorbed, and most of all, an absolute f***ing idiot. Blaze would turn a blind eye to everything that happens outside the palace walls unless it involved her precious jewelry. Most dragons may support her for a while, but eventually her sheer ineptitude would allow for a lot of corruption that she would do nothing about. Or if a dissenter who supported Burn or Blister wanted to, it may not be too hard to assassinate Blaze early on, which seems likely. There's also Onyx, the granddaughter of Queen Oasis through Smolder, making her Blaze's niece and thus eligible to challenge Blaze for the throne. Onyx definitely seems like the kind of person who would challenge Blaze the moment she got the chance, and there's no way Blaze would win in a fight. Looking at Burn next, she'd definitely be better than Blaze, but still not great. It was stated that if Burn won the war, she would likely keep the war going just to satisfy her lust for violence. To the public, that would just be a bunch of senseless killing for seemingly no reason. Burn would undoubtedly be a vicious tyrant and rule with an iron fist, or claw? Whatever. She'd probably be more interested in feeding her own creepy interests than running the kingdom effectively. She's also been known to simply kill anyone who displeases her, meaning the entire kingdom would be ruled by one thing: fear. And if our own history is any example, fear only works as a tactic for so long before turning to anger, and anger turns to revolution. Onyx wouldn't be able to beat Burn one-on-one, so she would likely wait for a rebellion to break out, then take advantage and seize the throne for herself once Burn is dead. At the end of the day, Burn would last longer than Blaze, but she's so tyrannical that a revolution is bound to happen eventually. That just leaves Blister, the smartest of the three, who at the very least has a strong head on her shoulders and probably knows a thing or two about how to rule a kingdom. The issue with her is that she would probably try to conquer the other tribes if she became queen, but at least that's a definitive goal to work towards. Impractical, definitely, but starting a war for a reason is better than starting one for no reason. Unlike Burn, Blister is much more careful and cunning, so I don't think it would be too hard for her to maintain order without all the senseless killing of anyone who so much as annoys her. It was Blister's idea to start the war to get around having to fight Burn directly, and Oasis remarked that Blister would most likely be the first to challenge her, meaning she was fully prepared and eager to become queen. As for Onyx, I feel like Blister could just barely beat her in a fight, mainly due to her being much older and therefore a lot bigger, so it would probably be a similar situation to Burn. With Blister's goals, I still don't think she would actually last long term before yet another rebellion breaks out, but she'd last longer than the other two. And as the old saying goes, brain over brawn, so the title of most effective queen, or least ineffective I guess, goes to Blister. Let's say if the Dragonets of Destiny never meddled in the war at all, who would logically win? Again, I think we can eliminate Blaze. The only reason the Icewings supported her is because she promised to fork over some land if they won. They've gone nearly 20 years with basically no progress, and I doubt many Icewings would want to live that far south of the cliff, so how much longer would it really be before they decide it's just not worth it anymore and bow out? And remember, Blaze took a back seat and let Glacier handle the military stuff, so that would leave Blaze with a small army of SandWings, no idea how to lead them, and no secure land holdings of her own. She can't go north because of the Great Ice Cliff, west is the ocean, and going south or east would send her straight into enemy territory. Burn would undoubtedly hunt her down and destroy her, and most of her forces would probably join Burn if it meant they would get to live. Burn might either pressure the Icewings into joining her or invade them, but I don't think it's very likely. They're protected by the Great Ice Cliff, and even if Burn were to go around it, non-Icewings struggle to survive in the extreme cold anyway. What's the point of invading the Ice Kingdom now if 1. It's notoriously hard to invade, 2. Your subjects can't even live there, and 3. You've got another enemy to worry about right now anyway? Burn may not be super smart, but I think she's smart enough to realize it just isn't worth her time. With the added forces from Blaze, Burn would basically have 3 tribes on her side. So now let's talk about Blister. More specifically, her secret alliance with the Nightwings. The Nightwing volcano would erupt eventually, forcing them to invade the rainforest. That's not the kind of thing that can be kept under wraps, so they would be openly on Pyria now, meaning they can't influence the war from the shadows anymore. And I doubt it would be long before people realize there's not that many of them left, and they don't even have powers anymore, so there goes their fear advantage too. That leaves Burn with 3 tribes on her side and Blister with only 2, or like 1.5. Who do you think would win that? Blister may be smart, but there's only so much you can do against brute force like that. I'm gonna go ahead and give the war to Burn. So there you have it. Of the 3 sisters, Blaze was the most popular, Blister would have been the most effective queen, or at least last longer than the others, and Burn probably would have won the war eventually. Although, let's face it, none of them would be a good pick for the throne, but I think that's the point. All 3 of them are horrible, so it's all the more satisfying when Thorn becomes queen instead. But it was still really fun to dive into what would happen if one of the sisters had to win. Now it's fan art time. Just one, and it's from Mosquito. Thank you so much, and if any of you want to submit your own art, you can do so in my Discord server. I've also gained a lot of new subscribers since my last video, so welcome to anyone who's new. This has been Wings of Charcoal, and I will see you all in the next video.